Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, big news from the Student Government Association after their elections this week. We'll tell you about the new campus leaders and their answers to your question.
Plus, if you looked up at the sky on Monday, you were in for a treat. We'll show you how students gathered to watch the rare solar eclipse.
And are you ready for a good feeling this weekend? We have all the information you need to know about Wake the Giant.
All that and much more coming up in the Q30 Newscast.
Happy Wednesday night, Bobcats, and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Katie Cohen.
I'm Keith Savage. We have news tonight from across campus and Hamden, so let's get started.
It was a big week for the Student Government Association. They held their annual election debate before students voted for their representatives.
The week kicked off with debates Monday night with topics ranging from funding for organizations to student feedback. Q30's Cindy Weimer has more.
This past Monday, candidates running for executive board positions within the Student Government Association participated in an annual pre-election debate. The debate is held in order for candidates to state their campaign goals and share why they are fit to be elected into their desired position for the next academic year. Throughout the event, each candidate had an opportunity to share an opening statement, answer on-the-spot questions from moderators, as well as rebuttal opponents' arguments. Popular topics from candidates during the debate focused on promoting increased communication and student-focused initiatives throughout campus life.
We need to make sure that we are being specific about what people need, so we are not miscommunicating and that we are supporting them with exactly what they need at every juncture.
There was also discussion on increasing student organization funding, better ensuring that on-campus clubs have the materials they need to succeed.
We need to make sure that we're talking to student orgs every single day of the year to make sure that they know that we are here for them and they know that we support them in everything they need.
During the debate, Q30 spoke with a few presidential candidates on their individual campaigns.
I feel really well equipped to be able to take on the presidency. It's something that relies a lot on having experience and understanding the organization, which is something I feel really well equipped to do now.
I believe my record shows that I'll be an effective president and I'll be able to use the position to successfully advocate for the students.
While student government debates are sure to be kept orderly and polite, success and such is key to the elections that follow shortly after. Reporting from the Piazza where the debates took place, Sydney Weimer, Q30 News.
Tonight we had the results of the SGA elections. JP Donato is the new president of the organization. Joining him at vice president is Kayla Sternhardt. For class presidents, they are Anya Armstrong, Kara St. John, and Zachary O'Connell. The new commuter senator is Anita Moran. SGA announced that there were over 1,700 votes that were casted. The org said that exceeded the 5-year average spring voter turnout. On Thursday, a New Haven Planet Fitness on Amity Road received a bomb threat. The local police received a phone call conveying a bomb threat at 3:55 p.m. from the gym outlets in New Haven, Orange, and Hamden, said Police Chief Carl Jacobson. The chain has had national protests due to locker room policies for transgender members. Planet Fitness website says, quote, all members of team members may use Planet Fitness locker room facilities and programs based on their self-reported identity, end quote.
Staying in Hamden, where a popular thrift store near campus is moving locations. The Goodwill on Dixwell is getting a new home. The store is moving further down the road into the former Rite Aid building. Renovations at that new building are underway right now, and the current location is set to close in mid-May. That building is being leased to a different business. Meanwhile, incoming college students across the country are waiting on their financial aid packages due to an issue with the FAFSA form. As College Decision Day gets closer and closer, many students are stuck on what to do. Q30's Keenan Mills spoke to potential students over this past weekend's Admitted Students Day to learn how they're feeling.
For incoming first years heading into college, many university decision deadlines are approaching. However, some students are still unaware of the financial aid packages they will receive. Last December saw the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, come up with a new system. The form cut down questions from 100 to 20 in an attempt to simplify the complicated and stress-inducing form. Early struggles with the application were experienced. The new FAFSA led to an overwhelming amount of applications, leading to a delay in students getting the forms back. This has led to questions surrounding what high school seniors are meant to do. This past weekend, Quinnipiac hosted Admitted Students Day, where potential first years coming in the fall could see the campus before their official college decision.
Yeah, we're waiting on financial aid, so we can't actually pick a college until we have that figured out.
Some are able to still make a college decision, but see this as an avoidable issue during such a complicated period.
For my son, I don't think it really made that much of a difference. It's an added stress you don't need in life, I guess. You got other things going on in life, and when you have two going to college at the same time, that's an unnecessary stress, I would say.
Others weren't influenced a ton and valued how much the FAFSA was doing despite the delays.
I wouldn't say it affected it as much, but I did appreciate the updates that we're getting through emails. Every time there was like a FAFSA update or extension, we'll get an email immediately.
The FAFSA knows that this can be a stressful time even without the financial delays. In a statement made by the Federal Student Aid, they said, quote, "Since the form went live on December 30th, more than 3.1 million forms have been submitted. As part of our continuing commitment to put students first, we will ensure students and their families receive all the aid they are entitled to receive," end quote.
According to the National Association for College Admission Counseling, if all goes to plan, students shall receive their financial aid packages within a few weeks, all before that all-important May 1st deadline of College Decision Day. Reporting for Q30 News, Keena Mills.
The big event is back at Quinnipiac on Saturday. The event located in the Burke Concourse is the largest day of community service on campus. There will be around 1,600 students, faculty, staff, and alumni participating. The Hamden and New Haven area has about 100 sites for 3 hours community service. Sign-in and breakfast will start at 8 a.m. and shortly after the opening ceremonies will begin and end around 9:30 a.m. After that, everyone will depart before coming back to campus at 1:30 p.m. for lunch and the closing activity.
Another major event happening on campus this weekend. Are you ready to see Flo Rida? Wake the Giant is coming up on Sunday. Doors at the M&T Bank Arena open at 7 p.m. The opener, DJ Fire, will come on at 8. Then we'll get right round to see Flo Rida take the stage. 2 batches of student tickets were on sale over the past few weeks for floor and general admission. Get ready to be the wild ones, Bobcats.
It's time to take our first break of the night, but when we come back, we'll tell you about more events on campus this week and take you to Washington for an update to the presidential campaigns.
Plus, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity witnessed on campus. We'll take you back to the solar eclipse to see what students celebrated. But first, we're going to get a check on what's going on in the sky for the rest of the week. Q30's Anthony Rossi is here with a quick preview of the weather.
Thank you, Keith and Katie. So looking at the 3-day forecast for the rest of the week, we have today, and it is going to be a high of 64, partially sunny, partially cloudy, low of 44, so a 20-degree drop later tonight. Now we look at Thursday. It's going to be a little rainy through the rest of the week, so all those people that were out on the quad, now you're going to have to move back inside. So we have some showers on Thursday, high of 60, low of 49. Then we take a look at Friday, a high of 65 and a low of 51. It's a little bit hot, but it is going to be a little bit of showers. You know what they say, April showers bring May flowers. Send it to commercial right now.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfies, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, hashtag, welcome to my crib tour. You're just in time for our show tonight.
Hollywood News Update is clearly better than New York Minute.
No,
the debates, it's juicy, it's gossip, it's brand new.
All right, let's let them settle this. We'll go to the control room. What's up, guys?
We're just getting ready for tonight's show, which, for those who don't know, hashtag that is an e-news style entertainment news show.
It's also a great way to get the latest and all celebrity drama.
That's it for our crib tour. To see more on hashtag that, tune in at Mondays at 7 p.m. at Q30TV.com/watch.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Welcome back. On Tuesday, Quinnipiac celebrated Library Week at the library on Quinnipiac School of Law. The event lasted the entire day. The 2024 National Library Week is from April 7th to 13th. The week is to highlight the valuable roles that librarians and library have on people's lives.
The ongoing war in Ukraine is affecting hundreds of thousands of people. To raise awareness, a photo exhibition was debuted this week with pictures portraying the tragic and heroic impacts of life in Ukraine. They were captured by Fulbright Ukraine and the Institute of International Education as a traveling project. Photojournalists involved visited campus to share their stories.
When I was a student in Syracuse, like 5-6 years ago, I didn't really believe in power of photography. I thought it's a medium which days have been passed, and photojournalism is outdated medium. But now with this war, I see how powerful this medium is.
On Monday, the university held their critical conversation series in CC 101. The speakers were Omar Dejani and Mera Sucharov. The two spoke about understanding and explaining the events in Israel and Palestine. They shared tips for holy spaces for Israeli, Jewish, Palestinians, and Muslim Shrama. Dejani had this to say.
People say, you spend all your time dialoguing. Meanwhile, the country is burning around us. Meanwhile, the important dynamics are allowed to continue. That as a consequence of all of this, confidence in dialogue is a framework we're to.
Tomorrow, Student Health Service representatives are set to teach you more about what they do. They are holding their annual health fair with Quinnipiac and local vendors. That's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Rec and Wellness Center. Taking you off campus now for an important update out of Washington, where former President Donald Trump gave his opinion on a controversial campaign issue.
Q30's Eveline Crossley has more information.
Thanks, guys. It's been a busy week for both prospective presidential candidates, so let's get right into this. Former President Donald Trump is raising some questions from both political parties on Monday as he declined to endorse a federal abortion ban, stating law should be left up to the individual states. In a video posted to Truth Social, Trump stated, quote, "My view is now that we have abortion where everyone wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation, or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state," end quote. Groups from both parties have shown disapproval towards his stance, including the anti-abortion group Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, who stated they were, quote, "deeply disappointed with the president's statement," end quote. Similarly to Trump, Biden's actions in regard to the war in the Middle East has also recently put his campaign on some rocky ground. Many Democrats feel the pressure Biden is putting on Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu for a ceasefire and more aid is not a good look for his re-election, when juxtaposed to his continued sending of U.S. Army shipments. Israel's attack on the World Central Kitchen convoy is just the most recent event in the war that is pushing more Democrats away from the prospective party's candidate. Recently, a Palestinian-American physician walked out during a Ramadan celebration with Biden, highlighting the issues to the American people. And finally, earlier today, President Biden hosted Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida for a state visit. The two discussed a plethora of topics, including modernizing their military alliance with the goal of creating a hub for defense in the Pacific, their vision for an air defense network between Japan, Australia, and the U.S., and their plan to send a Japanese astronaut on a NASA mission to the moon. The U.S. and Japan's relationship continues to strengthen as China grows more aggressive in the region, causing their security interests, along with those of the Philippines, to converge. And that is all we have time for this week in political news. Now let's send it back to Katie and Keith at the desk.
It's been a beautiful few spring days on campus, and we've been loving it, but that could be a thing of the past. Coming up, we'll give you a look at the forecast for the rest of the week.
In the solar eclipse captured the attention of students all day on Monday. What is the unique experience meant to students study the sky? We'll be right back.
I can't hear you, little girl. You're gonna have to speak up.
Well, if you keep yelling, you're not gonna be able to hear anything at all.
Is this a part of the show?
Could we turn the heat up? It's like an icebox in here.
I'm gonna need you guys to turn it down a little bit. I'm clearly in the middle of a show here.
A show? I thought this was a eulogy.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
You know, Katie, I have loved the weather the past few days.
It has been a beautiful few days in Camden. It's been nice to sit outside under the sun. But will that sunshine stick around? Q30's Anthony Rossi has more on the upcoming weather.
Thank you, guys. I'm back with the 7-day forecast of this week. So we'll look into the weekend and next week. So we look into Saturday. Saturday is an overcast day of 55 high and a low of 45. So a 10-degree difference. It gets colder after Friday, but the sun is peeking back through the clouds on Sunday. 67 high and a low of 41, so it gets colder during the nighttime. But Monday, everybody be back out on the quad. It is a 78 bright and sunny day on Monday, low of 49 going into the evening. And Tuesday, it is a pretty much partially sunny, partially cloudy day, a low of 55. And it's a very bright and sunny day as we look into the map now around Hamden and the rest of Connecticut. So looking at the top left on Torrington, they have a high of 58, low of 48. It's a very rainy day for tomorrow. Hartford, high of 63. So it is a little bit of a warmer day for all the cities around Connecticut and towns. In New Haven, it is going to be near the seashore, so it is going to be 58, one of the coldest. And then down in New London, which is the closest to the shore, it is a 57 high and a low of 47. But that's all the time that we have on the weather. We'll send it back to the desk. Keith and Katie, take away.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, looking back, we had beautiful weather on Monday as millions of people looked up into the sky to see a rare solar eclipse. Here in Connecticut, we got a 92% total eclipse, and students on campus got a first-hand look.
It was an exciting time with hundreds of students on the quad watching. Q30's Carter Kane shows us.
Hundreds of Quinnipiac students and faculty gathered in the quad on Monday to see the astronomical spectacle that is the solar eclipse. The event included viewing glasses, telescopes to get a closer look, and a live stream from NASA with other views of the eclipse from around the world. The College of Arts and Sciences organized a viewing party for students to gather and gaze at the eclipse. Professor Robert Fischetti was on hand to answer any questions and guide the group through the eclipse. Q30 spoke with Professor Fischetti about the setup of this event.
We've been working extremely hard since 11 a.m. We have 3 telescopes set up, as you can see. So we're trying to get as many people as we can to look through the telescopes where you can actually zoom in. You're going to almost feel like you're there standing next to the sun.
Q30 also spoke with Adam Roth, the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, who spoke about his excitement of the turnout of the event.
I can't believe how many people have come out for it. It's really spectacular. There are hundreds of students here.
We're in the quad right now, and students are very excited to watch the solar eclipse with their glasses.
Yeah, I am really excited, actually. I'm here with all my roommates, my sisters, and we're all just really excited to see it.
Quinnipiac was a very lively place to be on Monday. There was also a university field trip that Grant Crawford, professor of mechanical engineering, organized with 11 students who traveled to Vermont to be in the path of totality to truly see the total eclipse. The College of Arts and Sciences hosted an event that truly brought campus together to view this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus quad, Carter Kane, Q30 News.
On Thursday, April 11th, a screening of the movie Deadly Deception at Asobi Born Eckler Center 101. The film takes viewers behind the scenes of an investigation. It reveals the many Nazis covered up throughout. It goes through the history and science. The film is narrated by actress Tuva Filsha. Filmmaker Gary Hodgman will be in attendance for a question and answering session after the screening.
Meanwhile, a standout figure in Las Vegas is at the center of an investigation right now.
Q30's Becca Calkins has an update on that and more news across the country. Becca, take it away.
Thanks, Keith and Katie. On April 8th, Las Vegas police said a gunman opened fire inside a law firm. The gunman was a Las Vegas attorney, Joe Houston, who allegedly shot Dennis Prince and his wife, Ashley Prince, at the Summerlin law firm. Dennis and Ashley were reported dead. Houston turned the gun on himself. The Clark County Coroner's Office has yet to identify the victims. The shooting happened during a child custody deposition at the Prince Law Group. Houston was representing his son, Dylan Houston, with his former daughter-in-law, Ashley Prince, who was represented by her new husband, Dennis Prince. Police say there is no ongoing threat to the community, and they are in early stages of the investigation. Multiple colleges and universities in the U.S. have announced that students involved in anti-Israel protests will now face expulsion or suspension. Pomona College announced that any participants in such event will be subject to immediate suspension from the college. The announcement comes as around 150 students protested outside of President Gabriel Starr's office and refused to leave over the removal of a pro-Palestinian Mark Apartheid wall on campus. Over 20 people were arrested at the protest. With numerous universities taking this action, University of Michigan President Santa J. Ono said no one is entitled to disrupt the lawful activities of speech of others. We are required to intervene when we become aware that others are interfering with or disrupting lawful speech on our campus. Switching gears, Amazon's convenient return policy is being taken advantage of. Some Amazon buyers are using the simple return policy to scam sellers. Small businesses are receiving returns with false items. An example from Sebastian Herrera with the Wall Street Journal that was given to CBS News was a business owner who sold household items that received cable boxes and dirty soap bars from buyers, making false returns. Saying, quote, "It's really anything you can imagine. People ship all kinds of junk back and they do it every day." Amazon has said they have no tolerance for fraudulent returns and they have made no other comments on the situation. Katie and Keith, are you guys big Amazon users?
I'm not a massive Amazon user, Katie, but I know you are.
Oh, Keith, I always have a full cart on Amazon. I actually just made an order yesterday, but now we have to enter our final commercial break of the night. But straight ahead, we're hearing from a Quinnipiac athlete about the opportunities she's getting to actually make some money.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
They are not going to win.
Yes, they are. They're going to win in Placid.
When's the last time they won?
Do you like debating sports with your friends?
Just because it was in 2016 doesn't mean they can't win it this season.
That's a long time ago. They're not.
And all things Quinnipiac athletics?
And after that, then they're going to win at the NCAA tournament.
No, they are.
Yes,
no.
they are.
Then Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you.
Tune in every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m.
Online at Q30TV.com/watch.
We're the home for all things sports debate.
Miss the action? We've got you. Every team, every game. In-depth coverage, all the access, and of course, all the action.
No doubt about it.
In isolation, it goes backhand toss up. Scoop layup with 3 seconds remaining. He hits the game winner.
Knock, knock, who's there? Nobody. Vinny Duplessis sends it right back. This is Sports Pause. Monday nights at 9:30, only on Q30 Television.
First year field hockey player Katie Shanahan has been making some news with NIL. Q30's Andrew Reynolds has more.
When you think of the biggest names in college athletics, you probably think of Caitlin Clark, a Bronny James, or Olivia Dunn. While those athletes make at least 7 figures in their brand deals and are part of some of the biggest schools in the country, smaller schools like Quinnipiac are able to still profit on their name, image, and likeness. And here at Quinnipiac, we also have some of the leaders in that marketplace.
NIL has really helped me as a Quinnipiac athlete, especially because I'm not at a big school or play a sport that is predominantly seen as a big NIL moneymaker per se. Utilizing my abilities with NIL at a smaller school has been great for me.
Before 2021, students would face severe penalties if they received any compensation from their NIL. When the NCAA allowed such practices across all 3 divisions, Quinnipiac alumnus Greg Glynn knew he had to capitalize on this new marketplace.
Started Pliable because I realized the opportunity that was going to be there after the court ruling that the NCAA now is going to have over 500,000 student athletes that were going to be at least interested in name, image, and likeness opportunities.
Shanahan's partnerships span across local businesses in Hamden to large corporations like Adidas and Gillette. Some of the benefits she gets includes free products, discount codes for her and her followers, and some cold, hard cash. Shanahan also adds that Glenn has been a great mentor and helped her through the entire process.
NIL is a great opportunity if you're willing to put in the work. I would recommend NIL to anyone, really. I'd recommend having an agent. like Greg, just finding someone that can really help you organize everything, because being a Division I athlete with academics is enough as itself.
To be able to now work with 3 different Quinnipiac athletes and be able to also, quite honestly, help, Bobcat Nation as a former alum brings a huge smile to my face.
Greg also said that he's looking forward to potentially signing more Quinnipiac athletes in the future outside of field hockey. Reporting from the Field Hockey Stadium on the Mount Carmel campus, Andrew Reynolds, Q30 News.
A men's ice hockey player began his NHL career this week, and a longtime baseball coach had a ceremony before the game.
Q30's Ben Rickovicius has our full sports report tonight. Ben?
Thanks, Keith and Katie. It was a special week in Quinnipiac sports, and one that will go down in the history books for many reasons. Former Quinnipiac men's ice hockey forward Colin Graff recorded his first NHL point. Graff inked a pro deal with the San Jose Sharks on Thursday. Graff first reported his first point against Luke Kunin's goal halfway through the second period. Graff now joins former teammates Sam Lipkin and Jacob Quillen to the signed NHL deals this past week. Graff recorded a national championship with the Bobcats in 2023 and ended his current Quinnipiac career with 43 goals and 65 points. From a former Bobcat at the start of their professional career to a legendary Bobcat coach towards the end of his career, the Quinnipiac baseball team held a special ceremony prior to Sunday's game against the Iona Gales to celebrate Dan "Skip" Gooley. Gooley currently served as the director of operations for the Bobcats baseball team, but also was a Bobcats manager and earned 430 career wins at the helm. Gooley's number 15 also became the second number of Quinnipiac athletics program has retired, joining Frank Vieira. From the turf to the mats, the Quinnipiac acrobatics and tumbling team has earned its regular season unbeaten for the first time in program history. The number 2 Bobcats defeated the number 3 Gannon Golden Knights on Saturday, winning the contest 277.610 to 270.345. Quinnipiac outscored Gannon in compulsory, period, tumble, and team events, and Gannon was able to take acro and tumbling events. The Bobcats will advance to the 2024 NCATA National Tournament, which is being held in Fairmount, West Virginia. That's all I have for sports news. Back to Katie and Keith at the desk.
Who doesn't love barbecue? One of Connecticut's most popular BBQ spot is coming to campus this weekend.
Bears Smokehouse Barbecue is bringing their food truck to the lacrosse doubleheader against the Virginia Military Institute and Iona.
Those games are on Saturday, April 13th. The food truck will be outside the lacrosse stadium throughout the games. They'll have everything from sandwiches to barbecue, mac and cheese.
And everyone knows Keith's birthday is coming up on Saturday, so that sounds like it'll be a great birthday meal for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. But Katie, it's time for our goodbyes, and I'll start this one off. The time I was a bit lost, but then I started making more appearances. Excuse me, I'll restart this for a second. But to start off my first year, I was a bit lost here at Q30, and I did not know exactly where my spot was. Then I started making more appearances to the show in the spring because I became friends with the person who I anchored with tonight, who's living across the hall. Shout out to Village 610. That led to a domino effect on my journalism career, and I truly have no idea where I'd be without the random house name draw. From that semester, I started making friendships with producers and other people in the organization. I quickly found out that Wednesday was the best day of the week. In my junior year is where I started to fall in love with not only being in front of the camera, but being a mentor and pushing the younger class. I would tell everyone that you have to do more than sports and come to Newscast. Not a lot of first years come into Q30 wanted to do news, but I wanted to at least make that change for a few people. With not being a producer, I wanted everyone to feel comfortable and happy for their first few times at the show, as people can be stressed out with how difficult it is to make the Q30 Newscast. But I had a blast with my role, and it was always great seeing new people make an appearance. I will miss Katie Cohen changing my strips to make it as perfect as can be, telling Keenan Mills he has to be a handed beat reporter, making fun of Andrew Reynolds for doing all of his packages about sports, and much more. So thank you Q30 Newscast for everything, and I'm excited to see what is next for the show.
We've finally come to the end. I sat at this desk for the first time almost 4 years ago as a freshman, and here we are for the last time. For those of you who know me, the Q30 Newscast is my heart and soul. I started as a baby freshman dreaming of working in news. I rose up from being the Hamden beat reporter to an associate producer to leading the charge as an executive producer for a year and a half. I came to the same room every Wednesday for 3 years of my college experience. This is my home. The people who are part of Newscast have become my family and watched me live my dream and passion every week again and again. I can't thank this organization enough for helping me grow as not only a journalist, but more importantly as a person. The friendships made here will last forever. As Keith said, we coincidentally shared a wall in our dorm room sophomore year, but it was Q30 that helped us become such great friends. Andrew and Julia, who took over this year as EPs for Olivia and I, and she couldn't be here tonight, but they're two of my favorite people on the planet. I love you guys, and you continue to make me so proud every day. Watching you soar and grow brings me so much joy. But goodbye is not really goodbye. I'll be sticking around Connecticut at WFSB Channel 3, where I've worked for the past 2 years, and I can't wait to see where the Q30 newscast goes next. Wednesday will always be the best day of the week, and I'll remember this place, these people, these memories, every day after I leave this campus. Thank you, Q30, for making my college experience a memorable one, full of love and laughter, and plenty of Bobcat roars. Signing off for the final time for the Q30 newscast, for Keith Savage, I'm Katie Cohen. Good night, Bobcats.